Welcome to the Viking Age podcast. It's the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Chris Schad. I am a writer for FanSided and Zone Coverage. He is Adam Patrick, managing editor of the VikingAge.com and lead editor for the NFL division at FanSided. We do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel every Tuesday and Friday morning, and we're also in podcast form in Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode, and we can spread the word to the masses. Today's show, justice for Carson Wentz. We're going to talk about how the Vikings handled his injury and what they do now, because something's got to change. JJ McCarthy is the next to step into Kevin O'Connell's slaughterhouse. So we'll see how he does on Sunday. And speaking of which, just how much are the Detroit Lions going to win by? Because it's probably going to get ugly. But first of all, we're going to start in the obvious spot because Carson Wentz's shoulder is foobarred. And if you don't know what that means, it means fucked up beyond all recognition, because my man took a beating out there on Thursday and actually is having surgery. So it is fixable despite what the acronym says, but he dislocated his left shoulder, tore his labrum, fractured his socket. He suffered the original injury in week 5 against the Browns, went out there, played 2.5 games with the injury, and then told reporters on Wednesday, all this is overblown. It's totally fine, as Kevin O'Connell was probably sitting somewhere with a sniper rifle. So let's start here. Do you have a problem with the way the Vikings handled Carson Wentz's injury? Because turns out he was crying for a reason at the end of Thursday's game.
I have a problem with them keeping him in, but not for the reason because, he could play through it or whatever. I that doesn't bother me as much as just keeping him in when you're down 21 points in the fourth quarter. Like, what are you doing? What's the point? But yeah, with the injury thing, like, that didn't bother me as much because, like Carson has said, like Kevin O'Connell said, plenty of people have played through the same type of injury. It's just more of a pain threshold. I think Dalvin Cook played through a similar injury in the 2019 season at the end there. When they played, I remember when they played the Saints in the playoffs and they beat them, he had a shoulder brace on at that point. I remember it was the Niners game when he got carted off and everyone was like walking over to him and like it looked like his career was over or whatever, but then he just played the next week because that's just how Vikings things go. But I was just more annoyed because it felt like Kevin O'Connell was just this term has been thrown around a lot recently, but like Carson Wentz was being the sacrificial lamb where he didn't want to put Max Brosmer out there because you don't want to put rookies in a bad situation like that. You're down 21 points, man, in the fourth quarter. You didn't have to do a whole lot. You could have just maybe run the ball. I know that's not something that you like to do, even if your quarterback can't really throw that well, even if it's his non-throwing shoulder. Even if your quarterback just joined your team, I don't know, a week ago, you still want him to run your offense fully and be able to get every play as it should be, instead of running the ball to Jordan Mason, who has been looking very good the last few weeks, except for last week when Aaron Jones returned, and apparently he's RB1. But no, like the injury thing is whatever it is. Players play through injuries. It's the NFL. Like players have played through a lot worse. It's just obviously it is the national televised game. Amazon's going to give you those slow motion replays of like their end credits going to commercial of Carson Wentz just like agonizing in pain and throwing his helmet in slow motion and crying on the sideline and so yeah, was it a little like pumped up for TV? Yeah, but I also didn't like the fact that Kevin O'Connell in his press conference was like, yeah, well, the TV shows different angles, and than we saw, and this is probably overzealous, and yeah, probably, but you also saw your quarterback thriving on the ground in agony and pain and going to the sideline and crying, and then the thing of like, I think he said, well, we as a team view it differently of like when then the public views it when we're out of a game. And I think he like because somebody asked like what was the point of leaving Carson in like when you're down by so much in the fourth quarter, like 21 points, and he said that like, well, we view it differently than most people do in terms of like when we're out of a game and stuff, so we wanted to keep him in there. And it's like your offense couldn't beat like a Pee Wee football team that day, okay? So like he wasn't going to do anything any better or differently than putting a Max Brosmer in there, who if you didn't want him to play in a game, then why is he your backup? Like he was one play away from playing in the game, but you couldn't put him in when Carson Wentz is, looking like he's just he wants to be out there for, the good of the team, but someone need as a coach, you also have to protect players from themselves. And I don't think Kevin O'Connell did that on Friday, because who's to say like you go in that locker room and you want your coach to have the you know, look out for you the best, like have the best intentions for you. Who's to say he wouldn't do that to another player moving forward, where like, they want to play and they probably shouldn't, but because they have the passion and you want to honor their commitment, that you let them go out there and the injury gets worse and then maybe their career is like in jeopardy. So like I think Kevin O'Connell, although he's said plenty of times that Carson Wentz wanted to be out there and you got to honor his wishes. It's like, no, you also have to like protect him as the coach. Like we're gonna bring this up later, and we've talked about this before. Kevin O'Connell is a parent for like these quarterbacks, and as a parent, your kids rely on you to protect them and keep them out of trouble, even no, regardless of what they want to do or what they think is fun or right. You have to be the one to put your foot down and be like, no, you need to sit out here, get your rest. We'll go with Brosmer or whatever. We're probably not going to win anyways, so let's just get through the game and we'll figure it out then. But he kept him in there and kind of like, I don't know, he looked pretty like stoic and just stone faced, just watching Carson go out there. Like he would just walk by him and say nothing. So I don't know. Like it is what it is. It happened. So it happened a week ago now. So like it feels like it happened a long time ago, and we're still talking about it. But I feel like the people that are sick of it too are not paying attention that it made national headlines rather than just local headlines, because it was such a bad look, regardless of what the football people think it looked like.
And it was on national TV, as you mentioned. So, like, everybody saw it. If
Yeah,
this would have happened in the Kirk Cousins window
yeah, I
at
knew.
noon on a Sunday, maybe people are like, oh, man, he was really beat up. Like, he was playing.
Yeah,
What happened? And they wouldn't see all of that. Um, just looking at all the comments online, I can tell people haven't seen any given Sunday. Like, there are certain things that you and I, as two people who are inching closer to our 40s, look online and go, yeah, that person's like under the age of 20 or whatever. And this was kind of an example where a lot of people were, I don't want to use the term fake outrage, but like that's kind of what happens in these situations. It's how could they let this do this? Can you believe this? This is incredible right now. But even friend of the show, Matthew Collar, said he was getting texts from people just like, what the hell is going on here?
yeah.
And it
I
was
heard
a
I heard
very
he had Jeremiah Searles on his podcast or whatever too, like former
Mhm.
Viking and NFL player, and even he was like, "Okay, we get it. Just like just get him out of the game. Like we know he can't do anything worse to it, but there's a point where like the pain actually does become too much, and you got to do what's best for the player, regardless of whether he wants to be out there or not." So like even he was like, "You probably should have taken him out before."
And here's the thing from my standpoint, and this is going to sound cold and whatever. I hope Carson Wentz has a full recovery. I hope he has a healthy kid number 4 is on the way. I hope, wish the best for him. I think it's very cool he got to play for his childhood team
Mhm.
and everything else. But as a Vikings fan, I do not care about Carson Wentz. The teams he had played for did not care about Carson Wentz, the football player, which is probably wrong, but that is the situation we are in. Like we said last Thursday, thank you for your service. Thank you for going out there, gutting it out 2.5 games with a broken shoulder. But I mean, this happens. People get hurt. Baker Mayfield had a similar injury, I believe. I don't
Yep.
think he had like the breaks and everything in his shoulder, but he tried to gut out a similar injury in Cleveland. Next thing you know, he was traded and like basically on the scrap heap for 2 years. Like in Carson Wentz's brain, he's probably thinking, if I don't go out there, I'm not going to have a job. And maybe nobody actually said those words to him, but that's implied in the NFL. If you don't gut through certain injuries, they're just going to, all right, well, you're no use to us, whatever. I mean, if anything, I would suggest Carson Wentz may have like earned a job on next year's roster as the backup quarterback because, and I mean, obviously he's going to look back at that like, do I really want to do that again? That was kind of fucked up. But I'm just saying the Vikings might go back to him and be like, hey, are you interested? And he could tell them to fuck off from that point. But that's kind of what I'm saying. I think the issue that we should be talking about is what the hell is going on with this training staff right now. And a lot of people are like, fire the trainer. What are you doing? Trainers don't get fired often in the NFL. You know why? Because they know every dirty little secret that goes on in the locker room. They know who's taking what. They know all that stuff. That's why we see internet doctors spewing all this shit online about JJ McCarthy's ankle right now. There's so many weird things that are adding up when it comes to this training staff. You know, the TJ Hawkinson thing a year ago where we kind of thought he'd be ready first couple weeks of the season. He didn't play till November. Christian Darrisaw has been off and on. He didn't practice again today, and they listed it as a knee injury. You know,
Ryan Kelly.
Ryan Kelly's got 5 concussions, and he's just walking around the locker room like he's fine.
Well, he came back after one game, and then wow, he got another
that
concussion.
too. Yeah, go figure. Like Brian O'Neill's knee, and part of that might have just been they were on a short week. Like it's pretty hard for
Van Ginkel.
Yeah, like there's just a lot of weird
Harrison
things.
Smith, we don't know what's going on with him. Like, yeah, it's a long list, and you know, part of me wonders, like, because you have to balance this too of like, is it coach pressure? Is it the players, the training staff? Like, how much who makes the final call on this? Because this year it just seems like more out of whack than ever was before. Like, even with the Hawkinson thing, like, you know, we thought he was going to come back sooner, but you know, he didn't. And I'd rather have them take their time than do what they've been doing with Darisaw this year, which is like practice every other day. And then, you know, I'm going to try and play in the Chargers game, but I can only make it 9 snaps. I got to take myself out of the game. Or like, I can't play the full Browns game. I have to take myself out of the game. Like, if you can't practice all week and then not play a full game, you should not be healthy. Okay? If you're the starting left tackle, and this doesn't go for everybody, but like if you're the starting left tackle, then you need to either not practice and recover and not play, or practice all week and play. Because by you practicing and then only being out there for 9 snaps, guess who doesn't get those first team reps? Oh yeah, your backup. And then they go out there and they're like, like, what do I do? And we wonder why they give up like 4 or 5 pressures in a quarter, because they didn't get those reps during the week, because you had to get those because you weren't sure if you're going to play or not, but you wanted to go out there and test it. Then you tested it and you're like, oops, nope, don't like it, I'm gonna go back. So like that has bothered me, where like he probably should have started the year on the pup list. And then the Van Ginkel thing of like his neck injury, he missed most of training camp. Then he played in the Bears game. I think he played the whole thing. And then he got a concussion and hurt his neck. And he was allowed to come back after one game, and then he said like he aggravated his neck in the game, like the Bears game too. So like that wasn't taken into account. And then the Ryan Kelly thing, where like he got a concussion. He's had a previous history before coming to the Vikings of multiple concussions. He has a concussion. He gets one game off, which is insane. And then he comes back the following week and he plays a half before he gets another concussion. And it's like this. I feel like a lot of this stuff could have been avoided for the Vikings this year. And it seems like for whatever reason, whoever's making the calls, something's out of whack. And I feel like that NFLPA survey might look a little different for the training staff, medical staff next year than it has in the previous year. And looking up, like researching this too, like their previous like head trainer or whatever, he was fired because he didn't have like a license to be a trainer, which is hilarious. He got hired anyways. But he's gone, and like Tyler Williams or whatever, it's like he's been head of everything for like the entire time with the Vikings. So it's just weird how like previous years it's felt like injuries have been okay or whatever, and maybe like over conservative. It feels like this year, for whatever reason, they've been super less conservative, and it's come back to like bite them in the butt. And it's just making things worse and worse.
Do you think it's backlash from the Hawkinson situation a year
Backlash. Sorry.
ago? Backlash. I see that clip way too much. There's
Sorry.
for you who don't speak wrestling, there's an old Backlash promo from the 2000s with all the wrestlers, and they basically are all just going backlash, backlash, and then like Triple H is the last one. He's like
There's some of them that are
backlash.
like, and
Like,
that backlash.
all right, calm down. We're good here. But do you think this is like response to, hey, people were really mad when Hawkinson took his sweet time, or is this, oh my god, super competitive, we should be winning a Super Bowl and we're not, like what's going on right now? Like if the Vikings are, let's just say, trying to do the math in my head, let's say they're 5-2. Are we doing all this stuff where it's like, oh my god, we got to get Darisaw back, and all this is happening? Like, it
Yeah,
just
I think.
feels like everybody is pressing way too hard.
Well, I think questions would still be asked. I think it would be less of like a hot topic than it is as it currently is because it's clearly affecting the team. Um, but I do think it would still be an issue because it's just been handled totally different this year than it has in years past. And just like I tried to look see if there's any like difference in like the staff from last year to this year, and there really hasn't. So I'm like, is Kevin O'Connell like is it like Kevin O'Connell getting more involved in like doing the Brian Dable thing of like metaphorically going in the blue tent and being like, "Hey, are we done here? Come on, let's go. I need my left tackle from my rookie second year quarterback. Like I need him out there. So like he's gonna play. I don't care if you think he can or not. He's gonna play. Because we've heard comments from Darisaw be like, "Yeah, I was supposed to be ready in like a year, but I think we kind of rushed it." And it's like every time you speak, man, you make the team look worse. And I'm not saying he makes himself look worse, but it makes the team look worse for like him being like, "Yeah, I was supposed to be ready in a year, but we tried to see if I'd come back, and it didn't work. So what do you know? Surprise." Um, so like, I think it would still be a problem, but yeah, it definitely wouldn't be as heightened as it is now. And I would like to know who gets the final call because there haven't really been any changes in the medical staff and coaching staff. So I just want to know what happened this year because I don't think it's just like everyone's just way more hurt than last year. Because I think like it's football, there's injuries all the time, but it just feels like they've mismanaged injuries way more this year than they have in the past. And it's with impact players, it's not even with like small players. It's with like guys you need on the field. So I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie about Jonathan Grenard playing this week because he injured himself in the game last week and then showed up on the injury report, and he practiced in full today. And I think he said on like KFan or whatever, like, "Yeah, I'm going to play. It's the Lions. Obviously, I'm going to play." It's like, great, here we go again. So hopefully, don't rip your hamstring off the bone, but let's go.
Well, we haven't talked about the biggest injury that has kind of overshadowed this entire season, and that is JJ McCarthy's ankle. He says he feels great, which I don't know how much stock you want to put into that right about now,
I feel
but
terrible actually.
yeah, it actually feels broken. I'm not sure. Did you see the Sadabo injury? I think it's like that, but like my toes aren't pointing towards my calves right now. McCarthy has finally passed Kevin O'Connell's most extreme challenge to get back on the field. The Vikings have signed John Wolford to replace Wentz on the roster, so they will go into Sunday's game with JJ McCarthy, Max Brosmer, and John Wolford as the three quarterbacks. Um, I feel bad for the kid. I really do at this point because he is coming in. He's going to play in a absolute raucous environment in Detroit. That defense, I mean, they play aggressively. I'll use that word. Uh, Probably going to look at that ankle and go, let's test that thing on out. Like, if he sucks on Sunday, there are going to be so many fans who are just like, bust, told you, soft benching. They didn't trust him. JJ McCarthy, like, I don't know how he can succeed because I don't think JJ McCarthy can save this season.
Yeah. the odds are definitely stacked against him in terms of like putting the team on his back and carrying them to the playoffs or whatever for the rest of this year. But I will say that looking back on it, you look at week 2 when he struggled the most between the two games, and I keep hearing people say like, "Oh, he only had one good quarter out of 8." He actually played pretty well against the Bears. It was a lot of other players on the offense, Justin Jefferson, who actually didn't play that well against the Bears. So JJ McCarthy was definitely not one of the worst players on the field that day. But against the Falcons, like we've learned since then, the Falcons have a pretty good defense. The Vikings' run defense is fucking terrible, and they couldn't stop Bijan Robinson. Uh, Christian Darrisaw didn't play that game. Jordan Addison didn't play that game. Kevin O'Connell was still trying to mold JJ McCarthy into throwing 50 passes a game, even though his run game is still pretty good, and they invested a ton of money in the offensive line. So like, there's a lot of things that were going on in that game that don't get talked about, but there is one thing that keeps getting talked about by Kevin O'Connell, and I have to get into dad mode right now. I have two boys, and sometimes you just have to lay down the law, and I'm gonna do this for Mister Kevin O'Connell right now. So I'm just gonna tap in right here. Okay, here we go. Kevin William O'Connell, get
Is
over
that it?
here right now. Yes, that is his middle name. I used his
I
full government name.
I like the research. Sorry for interrupting
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Get full in there.
Yeah. Get over here right before you even think about running your mouth with some half baked excuse. Stop yourself right now and cut the shit. Yeah, I said cut the shit. I'm sick and tired hearing you bring up JJ McCarthy missing one practice, one, because he was there for the birth of his fiance and his first child. You think that's why the Vikings struggled and he struggled in week 2 against the Falcons? Really? That's your story? Don't play dumb with me, Kevin. You and I both know that wasn't the only reason. Christian Darrisaw wasn't active. Jordan Addison was still suspended. And your so-called defense made Bijan Robinson look like Barry fucking Sanders. Okay? And while we're at it, if your quarterback was struggling so badly, then why in the world did you decide to run the ball only 5 times in the entire second half when you were down by just 6 points going in the fourth quarter? 5 times, Kevin. Do you even hear yourself? How about you take a good long look in the mirror before you start pointing fingers at a kid who had to ask permission to be there when his child was born? Think about that for a second. Okay? And don't even get me started on the whole Carson Wentz situation. I don't want to hear any of this garbage about, oh, different TV angles or we saw something else. Spare me. Everyone with a pair of eyes saw a man out there getting crushed, pummeled to the turf, and then sitting on the bench in pain. And you left him out there anyway. You said your team had a different view than the public of when the game was out of reach. Kevin, come on. You were down 21 points in the fourth quarter. Your offense couldn't have scored on a middle school team at that point. It was embarrassing for you, the players, for the whole damn franchise. You had one job, protect your guys, and you failed. Now look, I don't like talking to you like this. I really don't. But when you mess up this bad, someone's got to set you straight. I love you, but right now, I'm done. Okay? Just go to your room and get ready for bed. We're done here. Thank you.
Are you bad? Do
I'm
you
good.
need to like
Woo!
is this like
I'm good.
Festus where like they ring the bell and
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
like and then he turns into a rage
I'm back.
monster and then
I'm back.
like yeah,
I'm back.
they ring it again
I'm
and
back.
then he's just like, "Oh, what happened? I blacked out." I'm like, "No, there's literally a puddle of blood in the ring."
Yeah.
Like that's not good. You know,
Whew, I'm good.
I agree with a lot of what you said. And this is kind of where I've kind of gotten with Kevin O'Connell. And look, this doesn't mean I want him fired. This doesn't mean I think he's a bad coach. This doesn't, he's been kind of whiny this year. Just kind of like everything is putting him out. But this is the one
Why
thing
can't
that
do it? Why can't he throw 50 times? Just like that.
I had
I hear
had to
that
run the
all day, every
ball,
day, so I
and
know exactly what that sounds like.
yeah.
I wanna do it. I don't wanna run the ball.
It's like a kid in his high chair just throwing the applesauce
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
your face. His big line was what? Organizations fail quarterbacks, but it's not the
yeah,
other way
yeah,
around.
yeah.
Like, they're not helping JJ McCarthy succeed, not Kevin O'Connell, not the front office, not like just look at what they, and I mean, part of it they couldn't control. Jordan Addison getting drunk and passing out near LAX. Like, you can't do anything by that. Christian Darrisaw's knee not being ready, out of your hands. What they did do was book a 2-week Euro trip and volunteered for it. I don't really have any sympathy for them
And
there.
had him fly, even though he
Yeah,
wasn't gonna play, and we
yeah,
know that flying is not good for, you know, inflamed or what it's not inflamed, is it? But, like, inflammatory injuries where, like, swelling it probably swelled up, and, like,
yeah.
so, like, was that the greatest idea in the world? I know you want him to be there, experience it all, and you never know, he might heal, but no, like, he should have probably been left behind and been able to recover in the US, even though it was probably a great bonding experience, even though everyone was like Kevin O'Connell in his speech was like, "0 sleeps, we gotta go home," in the final speech, so it's like, clearly they were being over there by the time the trip ended.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like people who go to Vegas for a week. They're
Oh,
like,
a
oh,
week.
trip to Vegas. Or
It's
I
terrible.
don't know. I don't know about people who go for like but you know what? Like, I only like 3-day vacations.
Yeah.
Like, I like getting there the first day, doing all the shit I want to do the second day, going home the third day.
Mhm.
Maybe I take one more, but like by the end of the last day, I'm like, yeah, I want to sleep in my
Vegas is
own bed,
perfect for
man.
that. A week is
Yeah.
way too long in Vegas. Vegas is a good 3, 4 day, like, go there, get out of there. Like, you do what you do.
Overstimulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
go in, get out.
It just feels like they've done so much to make things hard. And again, schedule too. That didn't help. Like, the Vikings have been on national TV basically every week since the season started. But it just feels like, for all this talk of, I know how to raise court, he's never actually said this, but like, I know what I'm doing. Like, and to his credit, if you're all 22 guy, you're going, Kevin O'Connell is scheming these guys wide open. Well, yeah, that's great. But if you can't get him the ball, that doesn't matter. You don't
Right.
get points for that. So all of those things just need to be taken into consideration. And it just seems like, I don't know if he's stubborn. I don't know if all this pressure is getting to this team. It
Yeah.
definitely is. Like, it's just kind of, they're not doing a lot of good things right now, and the vibes are off, Chief.
Yeah, I mean, don't tell that Jonathan Grenard, he'll tell you that, "No, no, they're fine." Um, but, like, I think we talked about it last episode, but, like, 14 wins, like, was probably too much. Like, they overachieved last year. That was clear. When they won 13 games in 2022, they overachieved. Um, so maybe this team right here is probably where they were closer to being. I would like to think that performance against the Chargers is not this team, because it just didn't look like any of them wanted to be there or play that day. They were all looking forward to, maybe in and out after the game. Ivan Pace. Um, but
I mean, there are worse places he could have stopped.
there are, okay.
Yeah.
And he
Dom
didn't he didn't
Mysterio,
he
big
didn't
in and
stop.
out
I'm
guy
pretty
too,
sure
but
the Vikings
yes.
like brought that to them after the game. So he didn't he didn't go driving after the game, do the drive through and be like,
You're gonna
"Hey
jump
guys,
on you're
we
gonna
just
jump
lost
on the
by
bus, bro? No,
we just lost
Jordan.
by 28 points, but I got in and out." No, I don't think he did that.
You want to jump on the bus, bro? Nah,
Yeah, right.
Jordan's gonna give me a
Yeah.
ride to In and Out.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's a great idea. Jordan's driving. Great. What could go wrong? But yeah, like, I just think this team, maybe the expectations were high when you look at the circumstances. And I also think, like, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, like, if Sam Darnold was on the team, this team would be like 5-2." If JJ McCarthy was healthy last year, Sam Darnold would have been benched after that Jaguars game when he threw what three picks and no touchdowns. He would have been benched. And then what happens? Like, he doesn't make all this money, uh, this year and be the league's leading passer with the Seahawks or whatever. So, like, I think a lot of people forget that, like, Sam Darnold wasn't the perfect quarterback last year. He had plenty of moments where he struggled, but there were also moments where he thrived. So I think we have to keep that in mind too. Where, like, with JJ, there's going to be ups and downs. And just because, if he goes up against like arguably the toughest team in the NFL right now on the road against a divisional opponent and doesn't play well, like no one should really be surprised by that. If he goes in the following week and doesn't play well at home against a defense that has been terrible this year, then I think you can have some concerns. But I also don't think like if you inserted any of the quarterbacks the Vikings probably could have got, they could have got Michael Penix probably. Like the Falcons or whatever, they got him. But like if the Vikings really wanted him, they probably could have traded up and got for him. I don't think if you put Michael Penix or Bo Nix in JJ McCarthy's spot right now, I don't think they're any better or any worse than where he is because Kevin O'Connell's still going to want run like his type of offense, and has just struggled with like adapting. He's had moments where like, okay, I'll adapt this for like a game or like 2 games, and then afterwards, I'm going to need you to know like most of the playbook so I can just run my offense because he did this with um, Dobbs when Dobbs first came, and like he guided him through that first game, like every single play, every step of the way, because he got there like 2 days earlier. There was really no other option. And the following game, like he talked about how like he got a couple more plays in his repertoire or whatever. And then the next couple games, Kevin O'Connell clearly was like, all right, let's expand the playbook. And guess what happened? Josh Dobbs struggled because his skill set didn't fit what Kevin O'Connell wanted to run. And the same thing kind of happened with Carson Wentz, where Carson, that first game, lots of quick passes, easy throws, kind of the second game thing. Well, I think he tried to step it up against the Steelers and change things because Carson was more of a veteran, but he realized not yet. And then he had to step back and against the Browns and switch more to like that quick game stuff, which he looked incredibly grumpy about after the game. And then come back to the Eagles game and the Chargers, and just looks like Kevin O'Connell wants to just run his offense. He's just like his patience level is so low when it comes to not being able to run his complete offense. And I wonder if that's a trait of just where he came from in terms of like, because I feel like Sean McVay is like this. I feel like Kyle Shanahan's like this, where like if they can't run the offense they like, then they don't want anything to do with you, regardless if you're good in any other skill. Like Trey Lance could have been used like really well in a totally different way. If he was with like, I don't know, the Ravens, but like they weren't going to bench Lamar, but like if he was with the Ravens, I feel like he would have had a lot more success than he goes to Kyle Shanahan, who one doesn't have like experience with a RPO running type quarterback like that. And then two wants you to be a drop back passer half the time, which just isn't the strength of Trey Lance. So I feel like coaches from this tree just have a tough time of adjusting. And I think hopefully Kevin O'Connell has learned over the last few weeks that he needs to do that more, especially with a young quarterback. But I'll wait and see, and I'll believe it when I see it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess to agree with you, like you could do that with any quarterback, right? Like I think if they had Sam Darnold, they'd maybe be 4-3 because it's
Yeah.
not just the quarterback
Well,
position.
the
It's
defense has been terrible.
the defense is bad. The offensive line is bad. Kevin O'Connell refuses to run the ball. Like, even if you got Aaron Rodgers, maybe, I mean, Pittsburgh's starting to fall apart. You can see it right now. I mean, on Sunday, somebody screwed up and Aaron Rodgers is just screaming his head off. Like, eventually that's going to wear on you as a teammate, and you're not going to want to
Hey,
deal with
but he's
that
having
shit.
fun at hockey games, though. Okay,
Yeah, he's
having a
having a
blast.
blast over there.
Yeah.
That's great. Wild Penguins tonight, actually.
Ooh, maybe he'll be
So
there.
I mean, it's actually in St. Paul, so probably not.
He'll make the
But
trip.
yeah, I have been making good money off the Wild's downfall this year, so
There we go.
that is pretty good. The one thing that I want though, even if JJ McCarthy struggles, you gotta keep him in there.
Yep.
You gotta commit to the bit here because I'm seeing, some of it is people online, they go on and just be like, oh my goodness, Kirk Cousins is gone. And now we're just in this endless carousel of whatever. We don't have a
Very,
long-term
very
plan.
specific.
What is JJ McCarthy then, if that's not a long-term
Right.
plan? The quarterback is 22 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Like, that is a long-term
He could struggle
project.
for the next 3 years and still be 25.
Yes. Like it's ridiculous. And then, you go on any trade site. I mean, you sent one to me earlier this week that was Vikings are going to trade for Justin Fields. What? Like
We
you think
we
Kevin
just wrote about one where they trade for Anthony Richardson. It's like, what are we
right.
doing? What are we doing?
uh Seth Walder, ESPN's just like Kirk Cousins. They got to trade for Kirk Cousins. Like enough with Kirk Cousins. It's over. Let it go. Like people tell me, let
Do I
it go.
have to?
Like,
Do I have to have another
like
talk?
it keeps showing up. Like people are like, oh my God, we got to get Kirk back. And
Did anyone
then,
watch him play against the
everything will be
Dolphins
better.
too? Like
What's
the
that?
Dolphin, I'm sure not a lot of people watched him play against the Dolphins because who's sitting down and watching Dolphins Falcons? I did, actually, because I want to see how Kirk Cousins played. But he didn't play well, and the Dolphins don't have good defense. Like half their defense is on IR, and Kirk did nothing on third downs and fourth downs. Guess what he did? Threw short of the sticks, and guess what? They didn't get first downs.
But you know what people said, including a former Vikings beat writer,
Oh no,
or not former Vikings beat writer, but
uh-huh.
current. Not his fault. No,
Right.
no receivers.
Oh yeah,
No offensive line.
where have we heard that before? Yeah, no running back. Oh wait,
No
just
run.
Bijan Robinson.
Somebody's got to pick it up. The offensive coordinator, like he's even on the sidelines, like like I don't know, dude. It's like, dude, you are getting paid. This is why you're on the bench, dude. Like it's done. It's over. I don't want to see Kirk Cousins anymore.
No.
I never want to see him again unless it's him getting pounded in the turf somewhere else. And I know that's harsh. But like,
Go replace Kirk Herbstreit or something on Amazon.
I think he'd be very good at that, honestly. He would be great. But I mean, it was a 6-year toxic relationship that the Vikings didn't get what they wanted out of it. And they kept feeding him money, just like, playing at the casino. You just keep feeding the slots on. I'm going to hit the big one this time. I swear to God. And
We've been hearing like there's like some rumblings or whatever of like tension between Kevin O'Connell and maybe Kwesi. Do we think this stems all the way back to the Vikings saying bye to Kirk Cousins? Because we know how distraught Kevin O'Connell looked at the combine during that interview after he found out that the Falcons had made Kirk Cousins a good offer and he's probably going to Atlanta when, it looked like after he found that out, it looked like someone shot Kevin O'Connell's dog. Like, do we think it just stems all the way back and Kevin O'Connell being like, look what you did. Look what you did, you little jerk. Another movie. But like, and the tension thing too is just like they're 3-4, so like I feel like no one's gonna be happy right now. So I feel like that might be a little overblown too.
it just, I don't know. Like I don't want to hear this anymore. I want the deadline to pass. I want Kirk Cousins to rot in the basement of Flowery Branch or wherever the practice facility is. And I never want to see him wear a Viking uniform again. And if he does wear a Viking uniform, I'm going to be pissed about it. Even though lots of people will be like, oh my God, Kirk goes back. You already got your nostalgia toy in Adam Thielen, and he only has 5 catches in 7 games.
One day.
So go play with it. Go play with, he's from Minnesota, guy.
But if you
leave me the fuck alone.
If you get Kirk Cousins back, he's got a history with Adam Thielen, and those two.
He'll unlock him.
We've heard this.
Some people are just stupid. Like, honestly. Sorry, but I'm sure they're nice people and whatever. But like,
no,
I could be stupid online too. I know that.
No, most of those people are trying to get you to engage so they can boost their $5 paycheck from X.
Yeah, you can go use that and invest in some more followers.
Yeah, we're going off the rails here, but yes, keep JJ on the field if he struggles. Like the chances of him struggling on Sunday are pretty high because the Lions' defense is better with Aaron Glenn gone, which is pretty hilarious. And the Vikings, like everything the Lions do well, the Vikings don't. So we've seen a Minneapolis miracle in the past. I think it might take that on Sunday, even though the spread is not. It's below 2 digits. Double digits, but it's not a friendly spread.
I'll ask this before we get into the Lions preview. Can this team still make the playoffs? Because right now at ESPN, there is a 4.8 chance 4.8% chance to make the playoffs. It's roughly 5% at the Athletic. But Justin Jefferson is a genetic freak. So technically you have sorry, I'm not going to get into Steiner math. But I mean, it just seems like this team, they would have to do a complete 180. And if I were to criticize O'Connell for anything over his tenure with the Vikings, it seems like anytime there's like trouble or like a really big thing, like he's overcome adversity, like in games like the Indianapolis Colts game what was it, 38-0 or whatever they were down, 33-0. Like he's done some good things in that regard, but it just seems like once the bad vibes creep into the building like they did in 2023, he just can't right the ship. And maybe again, those are things out of his control, but it just seems like, they picked the wrong strategy to build around their quarterback because they had to, because of the draft. Like that's the thing. When you look at the Lions, yeah, everybody we're going to become the Lions. Now you want to become the Lions because they've drafted well. They've hired a head coach. Like we could talk shit about Dan Campbell all you want, but they hired the right guy because every time something goes wrong in Detroit, it is rectified immediately.
Yeah, some guy punched a guy. He's like,
yeah,
that guy's an idiot, obviously, but we like him still, but he's an idiot.
And Dan Campbell's like, all right, yep, that's it.
He's suspended. What do you want us to do?
Yeah, he's baptized and born again, brand new man, and all that stuff.
Okay. Yes, I do. That being said, I do think they can make the playoffs still because there's they're 3-4, so there's 10 games left. We've already seen a lot can happen in a 2-week stretch, and the teams ahead of them in the playoff race right now are, let's see, the Niners are the 7th seed with a 5-3 record. They are losing players every week to injury, and I just saw something where like their practice field and stadium's next to like some electromagnetic field and just terrible for the body, so it shouldn't be surprising.
They're all going to become Spider-Man villains.
Yeah, they're going to be what's that thing in Russia that happened, like the
Chernobyl?
Yeah, yeah, that's what the Niners practice facility is. Then you got the Bears and the 8th seed are 4-3, like they just lost to the Ravens without Lamar Jackson. You got the Panthers who are 4-4. The Cowboys who have a worse defense than the Vikings, and then you got the Falcons who are 3-4 too. So like the Commanders are 3-5, and I feel like people probably think they can still make the playoffs whenever Jaden Daniels gets back. So I still think like the NFC is pretty wide open. There's just like you can look at the standings now, and most of the teams that are ahead are 5-2 or 6-2. But like the Bucks have been good, but they're full of injuries too. They can go on like a skid. The Eagles are, who knows? What's like they're week to week. Like Saquon just got hurt. AJ Brown's hurt. The Seahawks, like yes, Darnold's doing great, but like when is that going to stop? Is he going to hit a wall? Like, is that going to happen? So like, there's a lot that can happen. And then the Packers, like 5-1, they're like the least. Like I know people like them. They are like the least intimidating 1 seed in what's going on.
You don't want to do that, Adam. Everything is sunshine and rainbows over there. Like
I saw something today.
Pookie Love,
Jordan Love being an MVP candidate. I'm like, what are you?
His name is Pookie. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Baker Mayfield is more of an MVP candidate than Jordan Love is, and Drake May. But Drake.
I am concerned that the Packers could take a guy from like Iowa Community College or something, and he'd be on the stage all cross-eyed, just like, I'm happy to be a Packer. And like 3 years later, they turn him into a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like it just, I know Pittsburgh's defense sucks. I hate this. I don't want this. I want Jordan Love to fail. Like I mean,
the Packers were pretty bad in the 80s. Like they didn't really have anyone.
I want that.
Yeah, between Bart
Before
Starr
I was
and
born,
Brett Favre.
they sucked.
Yeah,
and like now they just.
Ever since Brett Favre, they've just been, oh, look, another. It was like the Patriots, like Tom Brady, and then they waited 4 or 5 years. Now they got Drake May for another 15 years, and it's like all their fans are like, oh, finally we've suffered so much, and it's like, what? You suffered?
third round pick. It's like, Tucker Kraft. Who's this South Dakota State kid? Greatest tight end ever. Love me some Tucker Kraft.
The second tight end they picked in that draft.
Yeah. It wasn't even the first tight end they took. And it just ultimate superstar. Oh my God. I hate it.
So
so much.
I do still think the Vikings can make the playoffs. You know, inside of me, the hope is that JJ McCarthy, like these past few weeks, he's been able to watch and Kevin O'Connell at the same time, and they can come together and figure out like what works best for their offense. Also, he used to throw to Jordan Addison, who he had incredible chemistry with in training camp, and hopefully he'll have Darisaw on the field for all of the snaps for every game, but there's no guarantee. It's not a dig at him either. Like if someone wants to be like, oh, you're so insensitive. Like if you're not healthy, then don't play.
His problem is, and Jeremiah Sarles mentioned this in that episode you were mentioning. He might be cleared physically. Like the training staff could look at him and be like, your knee's fine, you're good to go. But like it might be a mental thing now where he's just like, I don't feel comfortable blocking Aiden Hutchinson right now.
Well, it's like Dalvin Cook when he tore his ACL as a rookie. In the following year, he wasn't really himself because he was probably worried about like getting hurt again. And then the next year is when he kind of like came back. Because it sounds like the more that comes out about Darisaw is like he didn't just like it wasn't just ACL tear. Like there was more stuff that happened rather than just a simple ACL tear. Go in there and put it together. Because if it was that, then he probably wouldn't be so worried. But it sounds like probably some other stuff went on that Kevin O'Connell doesn't want to talk about because he doesn't want to get into that because I feel like he wants Darisaw on the field, but Darisaw doesn't want to be there.
They never should have let him on the field.
They shouldn't have.
Like they should have said, no, you'll just stay on the side.
Like because as much as
that started everything.
It's kind of the thing where like let's compare to this. Like you see a roller coaster and you want to go on it, and then you wait in line. And then it's a longer wait, so you're just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and the anxiety is like building up more and more and more. And then you get there to go on the roller coaster, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'll see you guys later." So like, I feel like that's what's going on. Where like mini camp, I feel great. Like there's no pressure or anything. Training camp, I feel great. Like no pressure, I'm fine. Get to the season, you're like, fuck, I don't want to do it. I don't want to play.
That drop's pretty big.
Yeah,
like shit.
You guys go without me. I'll be good.
Just jump across the carts, just dart right out of the exits.
Yeah. I that might have been a little like self admission there because I've done that plenty of times. Like,
do you like roller coasters?
Not really. Like, if I'm going on a roller coaster, I need to have like the shoulder harness. Like, I need to be locked in. I'm not going on no wooden rickety like one bar over your lap roller coaster that's been around for 100 years. Like, no, not doing that.
Nope. They at Valley Fair, that's the big amusement park here. They have a roller coaster, like they have two of them. One's the high roller, and you have a lap bar, but it's just like up and down. It's not like loop-de-loop and shit. Excalibur is like straight down. It's made out of stuff you'd see at Menards and stuff. Somehow it's still going.
I grew up by Six Flags, and they had the Superman ride.
Where that one's awesome.
Shoot.
Is that the one where your legs are hanging or no?
That's the one where you go up and you just shoot straight down. Like there's no loop or anything. It just goes straight. And I think you only have a bar over you, which was why I was like, nope, don't want to do that.
I think the one I'm thinking of, it was the Batman ride. So like you're strapped in and your legs are just dangling.
I like those.
Yeah, those are cool. Although, like when you think about it, like, are my legs gonna hit something? Like,
well,
did they think this through?
Have you ever heard the Daniel Tosh joke about like someone went to one of his shows and he asked her like, "Oh, what happened?" Because she broke her leg and she had to tell that she was on a roller coaster and some kid lost his hat and he went into like the roller coaster area and the ride was coming through and her foot kicked his head off. It's a true story.
Like off?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a Daniel Tosh semi-true story.
Yikes.
Let's move on to do it. Speaking of kicking heads off.
Speaking of getting your head kicked off. That might happen to the Vikings on Sunday. They go to Ford Field. They will take on the Detroit Lions in the Kirk Cousins window Sunday at noon. Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, and Aaron Andrews will be on the call. I was saying this to you about, Brady, and I don't think he's a very good color guy, but I would love to see him like as a studio analyst. It'll never happen. He's making too much money, but him as a studio analyst or like a podcast guy, I think he'd do a lot better because you just have to process things so quickly in a booth and you have somebody in your ear. Because I personally would love to hear his thoughts on McCarthy and this whole injury thing and what he's thinking about. But we're not going to get those answers because he can't spit them out.
Yeah, good throw. He completed it.
I really think
first step.
Yeah, I mean, I think the producer thing gets to him because he's like, I think there's a lot of things.
But he should be used to that. He was a quarterback. He had people in his ear like the whole game. He should be used to that. But yeah. Would you here's a question. Would you rather have Fox's number one team for the game, or would you rather listen to Kenny Albert and Jonathan Filma? It's a pick
number one team.
It's a pick your poison. Like
well, I mean, it's basically. I do
think you get
Brady's
more of like
you
get more of a presentation too with like the number one team. There's more cameras. You get Aaron Andrews on the sideline. You get Kevin Burkhardt's good. Is he going to do it? Because isn't he doing baseball? Is he going to do?
Oh,
I guess if the Blue Jays win, the World Series will be over by Sunday. But
right, huh? I guess I didn't look that. I knew Brady was doing the game.
Yeah, I know he's not doing baseball.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe
I will
it's
say
like
the thing on Brady though. There's a movie like a 30 for 30. I think it's like the Tuck Rule or whatever. That's about the Tuck Rule. But it's like him and Charles Woodson kind of just like watching the game and going over it, and like he's super interesting, just like sitting there talking about like the intricacies and everything. I'm like, why don't you sound like this on TV? Like, come on.
Well, and two, like you look at Fox's pregame, like Terry Bradshaw's on there being like, yeah, I totally got a call from Andy Reid, but wasn't Andy Reid. Maybe it was Andy Reid. And I don't know, that Taylor Swift, I really like her. Oh my.
Anyway. I'm trying to think like CBS. I know they used to, I think was Phil Simms. Yeah, he was in a booth. He was in the booth with Jim Nantz.
Yes.
And then they shifted him to studio role. And I want to say they did the same thing with Boomer Esiason. I know Boomer Esiason used to do Monday Night Football a long time ago. And he shifted to a studio role. So I'm like, yeah, why don't we just do that? But like then you're like, so we're gonna pay a guy $150 million to sit in the studio? Like, I don't think so. But I don't know how much they're paying Gronk and Strahan either. So, but he is in the studio sometimes. Like if they have an LA game, he's like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm in the studio too before the game. Weird.
Outside of Tom Brady, the Lions are favored by 8.5 points. There's an over/under of 48.5 for you degenerates out there.
48.
It's 38 to 10. Here's my question: can the Vikings keep this game close? Like, I don't even want to say play it close because like I would be disrespect. There's a clip that's been circulating this week with Mike Leach, and he's talking about play it close. You play it close, all their mommies or daddies, they're be like, oh, look at them. They're so proud they played it close. We could have won the motherfucker. That's basically how I feel. But also too, I'm just like,
that's what
Kevin McCarthy does. Team is a bad team, dude.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The Lions are really good at running the ball, and we know the Vikings are terrible at running the ball. So I think the Vikings should just say, fuck it. We're just going to blitz the shit out of Jared Goff, and hopefully he gets like beaten into the ground and doesn't get up, because I don't think their defense has a very good chance at stopping the Lions. You know, I think like maybe you could double Amon-Ra and then let Jameson Williams try and figure out how to catch. And who's the other, like they have Khalif Raymond as their number 3. So like you could do that, but like I also feel like the Lions aren't dumb and they're just gonna run the ball down your throat. There's a thing too, like in both of their games that they've lost, the Lions this year, their defense hasn't forced a turnover. So if you can control the ball, Vikings, if JJ doesn't fumble or doesn't throw an interception, or Jordan Mason hangs on the ball, like you can keep it close. And I think the Vikings just have to be smart. Kevin O'Connell probably has to be more aggressive than he would like and go for it on fourth down, um, you know, and not pass on 3rd and 1. Like look at 3rd and 1 more as like a 2 down situation rather than, we didn't get it, so I got to punt it. Like even if it's like deep in your own zone, like what do you have to lose? Everyone thinks you're going to lose this game anyways. So like this might be a kitchen sink game, but you also just have to like be smart. Kevin O'Connell hasn't beaten the Lions since his first game against them in 2022, so like he's got to do something different against this team. And I honestly feel like in the first half of that game in Week 18 last year, they outplayed the Lions because they were in the red zone 3 or 4 times,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't get in the end zone because they kept throwing the ball, and Sam Darnold kept missing. So I feel like Kevin O'Connell's probably got a little good feelings coming out of that game. Um, I am curious to see how the Lions are going to try and stop Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, because I don't think they've played against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins this year. Like that's the best duo they played against this year. But Jake Browning was the quarterback, so like I don't think that's very fair to say that they've played against a better receiving duo than Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. So
I
I will be
think
curious to see their secondary like try and stop those guys.
if Kevin, yeah, and I mean their secondary could be down. Kirby Joseph, he's dealing with a knee
Yep.
injury.
Yep.
DJ Reed is out right now with a hamstring. Terry and Arnold, I
Right.
believe he's still going to be out with a shoulder. Like that's 3 members of your secondary down.
Brian
I
Branch is
mean,
going to start hugging people to bring him down. Just sorry.
my brothers, how are you? Wait, what's going on here? This is tackle football, man.
2-hand touch,
I
right? Is that what we're doing now?
I am reformed. Like, um, but no, and I mean, the Lions can run the ball, Vikings can't stop it. The Lions have also been talking a lot about Jamison Williams and getting him the ball. So that's another
Seems like an
concern
emphasis,
because, yeah, because they, I mean, and plus it's just Jamison Williams too. It's like that's the guy we could have had, but then we traded down. And
here's a question for you. This is from the kids' lingo. Is Harrison Smith cooked?
he very well might be.
Because he's played like almost all the snaps the last 2 games, and they couldn't stop anybody.
Right.
Like, and he didn't play a whole lot the first 4 games, or first 5, and the defense looked pretty good. Now he's back in there, not that great. So it was nice to have him come back. I don't know what he's dealing with or what he was dealing with. We still don't know. But it might be time to like maybe cut those snaps in half too and give someone else who can actually like keep up with. I think there was like a blitz somebody mentioned on Thursday where he was sent on the blitz and it looked like the slowest blitz they've ever seen in their life. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be over soon.
They miss Cam Bynum a lot.
Yep.
And I know we laughed at it and said, oh, no, not going to have any dance celebrations. Well, they haven't had any this year because they can't force turnovers. So that's kind of.
I do think Van Ginkel being back will be super helpful. Because
Yes.
I think that allows.
Is he playing?
Yes. He said he's coming back, and he's been a full participant in practice for the first 2 days. I do think that allows Dallas Turner to do more that he's good at. Like, instead of being relied on as like the complete like full-time linebacker, he can come in and be put in areas where they know he's going to succeed, compared to him being out there probably more than he should be. And then I'm just thinking like with Brian Flores, like do some different stuff. I know he's like this mad scientist stuff, but it seems like he's getting pretty predictable with some of the stuff he's doing. Like Isaiah Rodgers, the fastest guy on your team, bring him on a corner blitz. Who cares? Like the Lions are going to beat you over the top anyway. So like at least make him earn it. So I just think the Vikings they've had a couple extra days to prepare, right? Because they had the Thursday game. So like I want to see some different things from this team from the first 7 games, because it feels like they were kind of going through the motions and being like, whoa, like how did everyone figure this out? Like, what, we won 14 games last year, this should work. But it's like, oh yeah, teams figure you out and learn how to stop you. So I think the Vikings had to do some. Hopefully, they did some good self coaching while they got their extra time off.
My prediction: pain. What's yours?
Let's get crazy and do 36-30, and the Lions lose on a 4th down call as time's expiring on a controversial no pass interference call in the end zone.
All the Lions fans.
No one will be talking about it.
Yeah, they wouldn't react. They wouldn't complain at all.
Yeah,
they wouldn't complain at all.
I will love it if that happens.
They still want a 60-yard penalty on Patrick Mahomes for that taunting.
Yeah, even though they lost by 13.
Yeah, yeah, that is it. You know, everybody from the 313 has been following this team since 2023. Vikings, Lions.
Hey, Jason McCarthy going back to Michigan. He's gonna turn this thing around, right? Right.
38-7 Lions. We score on our first drive, and then the party's over.
Would it? This is a weird question. Would it be better for them to lose and not get killed, but like be competitive and lose? But it would be better for them to lose rather than to have that like surprise win, and then the expectations come again back up higher, and now like maybe McCarthy's not given that benefit of the doubt to, or that leeway or whatever, to actually develop, instead of, they lose and I was like, okay, we gotta develop JJ. This is what this season's about. So maybe, it might be best for them to lose, but we always want them to win. But I'm just curious to see how that happens.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, if he goes out and he throws 3 touchdowns and 300 yards against Detroit, like, we're all going to be on the bandwagon again. That's all it takes, right? If he plays, again, I don't want moral victories. I want to win the game. But I'm also realistic that Detroit's a very good team. You're going on the road, and you have a quarterback with 2 career starts and one not going very well. Well, you didn't have a kid this week, so I mean, we got that in our favor, right?
No, Carson's having that now.
Yeah, Carson's having one. That's why I wondered if he like walked in the KOC's office and he's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" Like Kwesi and Ryan Grigson could jump out of the closet and they hold his shoulder down, like, "Oh, you want to have a kid, huh? You want to have a kid? You ain't gonna be no quarterback controversy now." If there was a quarterback controversy, you could read about it at thevikingage.com, though.
Yes.
What's going on? No quarterback controversy articles this week, but what's going on over there?
No, I don't think so. Not this week. We did write about John Wolford, the new quarterback the Vikings just signed, who I think Wes Phillips today called a psycho, because he's gonna he's gonna get ready for the game like in his backyard before Sunday. So that's fun. Yeah, the Viking Age. We got a lot of stuff. Trade deadline's coming up next week on Tuesday. So I know a lot of people are like writing on this game to see if the Vikings are buyers or sellers, but I don't even know if they'll really make a move this year. I feel like they don't really have, like, other than Jordan Addison, like who are you gonna trade? Like maybe Javon Hargrave so you can get Jalen Redmond more snaps. But and then who are you gonna trade? Like, are you in a position to like give up assets to acquire anyone like that would help you? It'll be interesting. We're gonna speculate. I will say that we're gonna speculate over on the Vikings.com. So keep up with that and keep up with all our reactions to Sunday's game. Hopefully the Vikings win. We can just make fun of the Lions and their fans freaking out, but no guarantee. But yeah, go check out the Vikings.com.
And of course, my work is over at zonecoverage.com. I wrote about maybe it's not so bad to be the Lions these days. And how can the Vikings become the Lions? Wrote about that. I also got Twin Stuff, who just hired the most uninspiring manager ever.
Paper bag.
Yeah,
Piece of cardboard for the manager.
Like I said, like you asked me last night, you're like, what is hiring Derek Shelton like? And I'm like, imagine Kevin O'Connell getting fired and being replaced with Wes Phillips.
It's like Childress getting fired, replacing Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, pretty much what's going on here. So that's going on. Plus,
Hey.
I got wild stuff at Hockey Wilderness too. Check that out.
You never know. You never know. But I think you got a good idea, though.
The FanSided RBN, I also
Sorry.
write for them. No, you're good. You can keep up with everything that's going on in the NFC North, which is the complete polar opposite of the Vikings. There's sunshine and rainbows with the Packers at Dairyland Express. There is, I don't know, maybe some clouds over at the Windy City with my Bears stuff, and then Detroit Jock City if you want to follow up on the Lions. We also write about the Chiefs too, so lots of warm, fuzzy feelings over there at the RBN, but check it out. This, of course, is the Viking Age podcast, the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. I am Chris Schad at the Real Chris Schad. He is Adam Patrick at Adam Patrick NFL. We do this every Tuesday and Friday morning right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. We can spread the word to the masses. For Adam Patrick, I am Chris Schad. 4 letters, 1 word. Skull.